Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Kakasungura YouTube channel. A big thank you to each and every one of you for your continued support. Kaka, I have not been present yesterday and on Thursday because I had announced to you kwamba kuna nyumba ninajengea mayatima eneo la Kitutu Church South, County ya Kisii. So that is where I've been spending part of my time. Tukapasua mbao, tukapasua miti ya kusimamisha na kila kitu. Kwa nyumba mpya ambayo tunajenga, I have already received 15,000 Kenyan shillings towards the iron sheets. Na wale mumetuma, Mungu abariki sana. We are aiming at receiving 35 iron sheets. Na one iron sheet goes at 1350. So out of 47,250, we still need 34,000 Kenyan shillings. So kama Mungu atakuguza, you support those 6 orphans who are living alone na wananyeshewa, tuwajengee nyumba, Mungu atakubariki. Nyumba ya kwanza tulibadilisha mabati, ni ya wasichana. Tunataka pia wavulana tuwajengee nyumba yao. Kwa lugha ya Kikisii tunasema esaiga, ama kwa Kijaluo anasema simba. Yani ni nyumba ile ya wavulana tuwajengee na yao kando, so that ndio itakuwa vizuri. So if you want to support that cause, you are free to do so. You can send your 1 iron sheet, 2 iron sheets, 3, 10 iron sheets, and we'll highly appreciate tusaidia wale mayatima na Mungu atakubariki. Back to politics. Kaka, there are 3 questions I'm going to respond. There are 3 questions I'm going to respond. I know some of you have been asking themselves. Question 1, what is the motivation behind Ruto's move to send police officers to Haiti? What is the motivation behind this? Number 2, how is Ruto and Kenya said to benefit from this mission? And lastly, will our 1,000 police officers manage the situation in Haiti? Those are the 3 questions I am going to respond in my analysis today. Question number 1, what is the motivation behind Ruto pushing our police officers to Haiti? Number 2, how is Ruto and the Kenya at large set to benefit from the entire mission? And lastly, will our police officers, our 1,000 police officers, manage the situation in Haiti? Ruto has been defiantly announcing that he is set to send our police officers to Haiti without further explanations. Even after several warnings from experts, even after several warnings from other politicians, even after several warnings from activists, Ruto has insisted, lazima nitapeleka polisi Haiti. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you all know, those people follow the Kenya's daily news, wale watu mnafuatilia habari za Kenya kila wakati. The former US Special Envoy to Haiti, Dan Forte, said, and I hope I pronounced it correctly, Dan Forte, don't know Fute, don't know Forte. It all depends who taught you in nursery school spellings and pronunciation. Said, Ruto is entirely doing this thing for money. Hakuna kitu ingine. Ruto anafanya hii kwa sababu ameona biashara mahali. That's what he told us publicly. He was being interviewed on CNN. And Dan said, Kenyans, let me tell you, your president is sending police to Haiti kwa sababu ameona pesa. Hakuna kitu ingine. So the motivation behind Ruto's move is nothing other than a business opportunity. That is what Dan is revealing to Kenyans. In simple terms, from Dan's statement, I can simply interpret it as Ruto is selling our police officers in exchange for personal gains. Not my own words, but words from an expert. Dan Forte further said, 1,000 police officers are too little to combat the situation in Haiti. How police officers is a drop of the sand in the ocean, is a pinch of salt. They cannot manage the situation in Haiti. Now, he said, but Ruto is mobilizing this because he has been promised money from the UN Security Council. Ameambiwa ukitutumia police officer 1,000 Haiti, tunakupatia pesa pap. Na mnajua Ruto na mambo ya pesa, mnamuelewa. Kenya as a country will not benefit in any way. And in fact, Kenya will create an enmity with the other countries. Kwa nini? Mataifa mengine hayataki kukimbia Haiti, including the US itself, due to reasons you know. Now, Kenya as a country, there is nothing we are going to benefit from this Haiti mission. It's only William Ruto who is said to benefit, as per the sentiments from Dan himself, an expert, a person who has been in Haiti for years. According to the information available online, which you know, Ruto was promised 13 billion Kenyan shillings should he release 1,000 police officers to Haiti. Aliambiwa ukituma police officer 1,000, 13 billion kwa account, pa unapata pesa. Hiyo imetosha kufungua kampuni ya biashara. Now, who is this Dan Forte? He's an expert. You know, is a US special envoy to Haiti, a former special envoy to Haiti, who I regard as an expert on matter security. He has been in Haiti for years. He understands Haiti very well. He understands what the gangs can do. He knows what the gangs can't do. He knows what 1,000 police officers can do to the gangs. And he knows what gangs can do to the clueless 1,000 Kenyan police officers. It's not something strange, ladies and gentlemen. Dan warned Kenya and said, if you dare send your police officers to Haiti, those gangs will completely wipe your police officers. Na hamutawapata. Now, those who follow news further, you understand the notorious Haiti gang leader, Barbecue. I hope I pronounced it well. Unajua, in Uganda, how they pronounce some of the words is totally different from how us Kenyans pronounce it. The name Chagulanyi, in Kenyan it's CH, Chagulanyi, CH. But in Uganda it's something else. So the CH in Kenya, in Uganda is written, I don't know why, what? Chagulanyi. Bobby Wine, Chagulanyi. You see? So Haitians, please, if I mispronounce some of your words, early in advance, I ask for apologies. Now, the notorious Haiti gang leader, Barbecue, has sent a stern warning to Kenyans in a press conference from Haiti. He termed the Kenyan police as invaders and said, if they dare come, we consider them as aggressors. Hao ni watu ambao ni our enemies. We consider them our enemies. They have come to disturb our independence. So Barbecue is sending a message to all of us as Kenyans and the president that yes, there's no problem. Send your police officers. But once they arrive in Haiti, we treat them as aggressors. And once we treat them as aggressors, those are enemies to our republic. And if they are our enemies, the only medicine is to wipe them away, because according to us, they have come to interfere with our independence as Haitians. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the gang vowed to mercilessly deal with them. My last question to Kenyans is this one. Will the 1,000 police officers be enough to manage the situation in Haiti? And remember, the 1,000 police officers Kenya is sending are just mere police officers with mere training, not KDF, not GSU. Hawa police officer wa kawaida, hawa wanafukuzwanga na maumbu hawa kawaida tu, hawa wanaonanga panya wanatoroka hawa. Just the normal police officers hawa ukishtua anaingia kwa napier grass. Hao ndio Kenya inatuma pale. Now, back to my last question which I had asked. Will the 1,000 police officers manage the situation in Haiti? Ladies and gentlemen, better we believe Dan Fute. He's an expert. He has been in Haiti and he knows very well what is happening in Haiti. He understands those gangs very well. And if there's a person Kenya should believe is none other than the former US envoy to Haiti, Dan Fute. Beyond that, then you are calling for trouble. Kama kuna mtu Ruto anafaa kuamini is done. Na kama hata muamini, kama hata sikiza mawaidha yake, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, we are calling for trouble. And to me, and Dan says 1,000 police officers to Haiti is a mockery to the situation. It's actually mocking the gangs. 1,000. Elfu moja. Mocking the gangs. The UN has changed tune on the same. It has emerged that the UN rights expert, William O'Neill, is saying that Haiti needs 4,000 to 5,000 police officers. Na Forte alisema 1,000 are not enough. So statement ya Dan and William is marrying each other. Dani alisema 1,000 police officers is a mockery to the gangs and they will wipe these police officers away. The UN today is saying the situation to combat the situation in Haiti, we need like 4,000 to 5,000 police officers. That is 5 times the number Kenya is planning to send. And what encourages my mind is he was telling Ruto these words in State House, Nairobi. So UN has also warned Kenya that as much as the UN Security Council is promising 13 billion to send your police officers to Haiti, ladies and gentlemen, 1,000 is not even enough to combat the situation. What next for Ruto, ladies and gentlemen? If I were the president, I could not sell our sons and daughters to Haiti because of 13 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, this government is selling your boys and girls, is sending your fathers and mothers to Haiti just because of 13 billion. What leaders are these? Anyway, God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next video. Asanteni sana na Mungu akubariki. I hope I have answered the 3 questions I had asked. God bless you. Asanteni sana.